This is Real Deal Sports Talk with KP, October 23rd, 2018.
Yo, Denver City life, living every night, getting it. All I see is green like it's night vision. My sight's different. My type driven. These niggas risking a life sittings over white flipping, but I ain't with it. I'm light skinned. My mind gifted, intelligence in my disposition, aristocratic image, and not to mention I'm nice with it. The ice drip over cardigan sweaters, tight fitting, white linen. This is the type of shit that entice women. The fly shit that I'm on is passing the sky's limits. Why it's not surprising to see that all of these guys live it. I vivid, solemnly swear the rhyme exquisite. With the time I'm giving, my mind flying, defying physics. I stay smooth like sipping out of champagne flutes. Always way cool, but it ain't a thing, just a flame cruise. You lame dudes, this that shit that you can't do. That's why your main boo steady watching me how I make moves.
My high city life got me way above the clouds. Paint the audience a picture every time I draw a crowd. I hold my weight with these bars, so make no mistake. I get to cooking like Chef Curry in Golden State. I'm motivated, I'm taking off, moving vertically. Saying that they were seeing me lyrically, that's absurd to me. Virtually murdering MCs on purpose. Cutting their body parts into pieces is verbal surgery. You say you hot, but you ain't burning to the third degree. Time to bring some urgency in the state of emergency. There's no comparison to us, that's way embarrassing. Making something from nothing like ancient Native Americans. Man, listen, I'm undergoing a transition. My transmissions is filled with nothing but ambition. No remorse on these rappers like a Roman force. Snuck into the game on these suckers inside the Trojan horse.
And welcome in. This is Real Deal Sports Talk with your boy KP. It is October 23rd, 2018. How is everybody doing today? I hope you're feeling as good as I am today. Today was a productive day. I got some things done at work that I've been looking to get done. I got the staff and the kids coming back to the schools that I partner with tomorrow. Got their technology and everything set for them. So we're looking forward to that as this week moves on. Conferences are out the way. We're moving forward with the school year. Everybody's feeling good. We got sports. Not everybody's feeling so good. Broncos Country is out of their minds right now with this Chad Kelly and this losing and this TMZ story. They do not know how to handle themselves, y'all. I'm telling you. Listening to the radios, listening to the fan comments, listening to how people are making logical arguments just the wrong way. I get it. Broncos are a super successful organization, not back-to-back losing seasons since 1974. More Super Bowl appearances than losing seasons. But you guys got to learn to persevere. There's going to be some hard times. Not everything's winning all the time. You don't get all the players you want. They don't always work with the right mix of what you got on the field, with the offense you're trying to run, with the defense you're trying to run. It is hard to get all the right ingredients to make a Super Bowl happen. But by no means, and we'll get to this when we talk about it, don't forget, it starts at the top. All this stuff we're seeing down here at the players that we're sensationalizing and putting out there in headlines, it starts at the top. So we'll get to that today. We got the World freaking Series tonight kicking off. The Dodgers and the Red Sox tonight. It's going to be a soggy one. Wet field right now. I haven't seen if they've uncovered the field yet, but it was definitely wet. We're going to talk about the World Series, some weird facts that are associated with it, what these two teams did comparatively in the regular season, and when I was looking at the numbers, I was honestly surprised. So we'll get to that as well, plus all these little trades and trade rumors, and we're going to get to as much as we can get to today. But we definitely going to start off with NFL Week 7 results. Oh, by the way, the NBA's in session too, so if we have time, we'll talk a little NBA. That most teams are about 3-4 games in at this point. All right, Week 7. Packers, Raiders, Steelers, and Seahawks had the week off to get healthy, to game plan for Week 8. Regroup themselves, all that good stuff that comes with a bye week. And Week 7, pretty good week to have a bye week. If you've had it earlier than Week 7, I feel bad for your team. If you have it after Week 7, congratulations, you got one of the better bye weeks in the NFL. We kicked off Thursday night as the Broncos went into Arizona and did just like Von Miller said they were going to do, and they whooped that ass. Put it on them, 45-10. Cardinals did not have an answer for them. Cardinals got a lot that they need down right there. They've got some pieces. David Johnson, he's still coming back. They don't have the right offensive system for him. They fire Mike McCoy. Byron Leftwich is going to take over. We'll see how that helps the Cardinals' offense. Rosen didn't look that bad. He didn't look that bad. Budda Baker on the defense, that boy is a stud. I'll tell you what. And the Broncos, they look good. They mixed it up. They added in some wrinkles that we haven't seen so far this season. They did what they had to. And the offensive line, hey, no sacks from Garrett Bowles. No holding calls for Garrett Bowles. Good in the running game. Not great, but good in the running game. So good win. Probably saves Vance Johnson's job for the rest of the season, honestly. Not just for this week. I don't believe they're going to go week to week. LA, they beat the Titans over in London because the Titans go for 2. They could have tied it and played for overtime. I like that they went for the win, not because, that shows your guys that you believe in them and rally the troops and all that stuff you hear. I like it because you play to win. You don't play for overtime. You don't play for another chance. This is the NFL. This is the big boys. You got a chance to win the game. You think you can win the game. Go win the game. A lot of guys in Vrabel's position, coaches, would have sat back and said, go for 1, we're playing for overtime. Shoot, look at what Atlanta did last night at the end of the first half against the Giants. It's 10-3. The Giants don't score. They get the ball. Atlanta gets the ball back. They're able to get down and kick a field goal, go up 13-3 or 10-3 going into halftime. So maybe if he kicks that extra point there, then kicks it to him, who knows what happens if they get a return, one big play, field goal range. Maybe they end up losing anyway. So I like the call. I like that, especially from a young head coach, especially from a guy who needs to come in, be able to make those tough calls. And yes, it shows that you believe in the team. Yes, it rallies the guys. Yes, it gets the guys to back you up. Yes, if it would have worked, we'd all be talking about how great that call was. Right now you hear my dog barking. Postman or somebody must be here. But the Chargers, they escaped London with the victory, 20-19. Texans all over the Jaguars, 20-7. DeAndre Hopkins goes off. Just highlighting them. And again, Jaguars defense does not show up in this one. This is not the team we saw last year. This is not the defense that had all pros and shut everybody down and looked like an all-time defense that was going to set the Jaguars up for seasons to come. Now, yes, they don't have wide receivers in Jacksonville right now. Their best running back is out. They traded for Carlos Hyde. Their quarterback has proven that he is not an NFL caliber guy. They need to suck it up. Either bring somebody in and try and turn this season around for this year. Call Colin Kaepernick. Give him a chance for this year. And if he's successful, you sign him to a long-term deal after the season. But you got to do something, because right now you've lost this defense. They have quit. They've gone home. They said, we're not playing this game if the offensive side of the ball is not going to cooperate and do it with us. That's what I see from this team. They quit. As professionals, they are not giving the same effort they gave last year. Now watch. That offense kicks up a little bit. They score 14, 21 points. Defense is able to get another score. All of a sudden, those guys are going to start flying around again. Which I can't vouch for. You should be flying around anyway. Go win the games as the defense. Score the points as the defense. Shut the other team down. But they haven't been doing that. In my opinion, they've quit. The Panthers come back, score 21 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Eagles, or 21 points in the fourth quarter, to beat the Eagles 21-17. Good game. I mean, it looked like evenly matched teams. Their records were very similar. Carolina could not find an answer, and in the fourth quarter it clicked, and Eagles could not stay put. They lose Gary Barnett for the season. He's having surgery today, I believe. Vikings all over the Jets, 37-17. Latavius Murray, once again, a great running game for the Vikings. If he's going to be able to provide that for Kirk Cousins, yes, Kirk Cousins is going to be a very good quarterback. That defense will be able to give up 17, 20 points a game until they get through their injuries and kind of get clicking again. Impressive outing for the Vikings. Another impressive outing for Adam Thielen. Him and Kirk Cousins clearly have a strong connection. I would like to see that connection work a little more to Stephon Diggs, because you will run into teams that will just take Adam Thielen out of the game. He will not be an option. And if you don't have that going with somebody else, you're going to start trying to force it to guys. And that's where you might see the Vikings slip up again throughout this season. Patriots go into Chicago. They get down early, but they're able to come back and hold off the Bears late as they win 38-31, once again reminding everybody they are the Patriots. Khalil Mack did play in this game on a hurt ankle, so he was highly ineffective. He was questionable coming into the game. Sony Michel goes down in this one with a knee injury. Reports are no major damage. He'll be day-to-day. Bills go out and lose to the Colts again in surprising fashion, 37-5. LaShawn McCoy goes down in that game. For everybody who wants to clamor who is the worst team, the Cardinals, the Bills, the Raiders, the Bills I'm having a hard time not going with right now. They're at least having the toughest season currently with what's going on with them. The Browns once again played to overtime. I believe that's their fourth or fifth overtime game this season. The record is 6 by the Steelers back in the 70s, I want to say. But the Buccaneers pull it out 26-23 in overtime. Nothing really all that impressive for me from this game. The Browns have their momentum has slipped some. They're not surprising teams. They trade away a Carlos Hyde. Nick Chubb had a good first day. They're going to have to depend on him more because teams are definitely taking away right now what Baker Mayfield likes to do best. The Lions go down to Miami and beat the Dolphins 32-21. Kerryon Johnson puts on a show, long run of 71 yards. LeGarrette Blount is pounding it and doing it. Matthew Stafford is efficient. I'd like to see more plays from the wideouts, from the tight end, but we're getting there. I said at the beginning of the season, around weeks 5, 6, 7, we were going to start seeing teams play real football. And if you've noticed, around weeks 5, 6, and 7, a lot of teams' games have really picked up. You've started to see teams win 3, 4 games in a row. You've started to see teams' offense become more consistent. Blocking is getting better. Penalties are going down. Because now they've had enough live reps against real competition to actually get back into playing football. So the Lions, they're getting it going. We'll have to see right now. They're 3-4. They have Seattle coming up. They get the win against the Dolphins team led by Brock Osweiler, who lost their best receiving option during the game, who Frank Gore was out part of the game. Saints hold off the Ravens thanks to a missed extra point by Justin Tucker. Coming into that extra point, he was 222 of 222 on extra points. He is now 222 of 223. And the look on his face will be a meme and a memory forever. The shock, he had never missed one. I mean, he was Mr. Automatic, and that one just found its way to the right, and that ended up being the difference in that game as the Saints pull it out 24-23. Drew Brees gets another win against the 32nd team, joining Peyton Manning and Brett Favre as the only players to beat every team. That means one thing. You've played for, or two things. You've played for more than one team, and you've played long enough to get through the rotation of all the different conferences. The Cowboys go into Washington. They get beat up. Washington beats them 20-17. They get Amari Cooper. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Rams stay undefeated as they go into the Bay Area. It looked like a home game as an away game pretty much with the Rams fans cheering there. They're taking over California right now, and they win 39-10. It's hard-pressed to find a team on their schedule who's going to beat them, but at this point, I do not see them going undefeated. I'll see them going undefeated after they do it. Period. Until I see a team going undefeated, I'm not going to pick a team to go undefeated. Bengals on Sunday night, they lay a complete egg. They show they're really not an AFC contender as the Chiefs just blow them out of the water 45-10. Patrick Mahomes, who I will not use his nickname until he's earned it more, put on another show. I'm telling you, that team is young enough, athletic enough, and fast enough that they just don't get down on themselves. Eric Bieniemy's doing an excellent job as the offensive coordinator with this team. Super impressed, and I can't wait for Eric Bieniemy to become a head coach somewhere, probably in the near future, honestly. Bengals, sorry, you've been exposed. Go ahead and compete the rest of the season, but you will not be a contender for a championship. Then last night, in a battle of really two teams that on paper you look at and go, okay, very talented squads. This is going to be a good game. Similar records even. Not good records, but coming in similar records. One had 2 wins, one had 1 win. Giants managed 400 yards passing. Saquon Barkley did not have an explosive take over the game night. Offense still looked bad. Nate Soldier looked bad. They trade Eli Apple to the Saints today. Oh, bless me. Falcons still can't get Julio Jones in the end zone. Tevin Coleman did not have a good night. They're trying to piece it together. Probably going to have a top 10 pick. Both of these teams. Going to be a rough season for them. And if you guys remember my picks, I only missed 2 games this weekend. I missed the Giants pick, and I missed, I think, the Texans. I'd have to go back and check for sure. But the rest of the games, even with all those road games that I picked, road teams that I picked, no, it was the Browns and Bucks was the other one I got wrong, not the Texans. I got the Texans game right. Browns and Bucks, looking at my picks. I had taken the Browns and I had taken the Giants. Rest of the games, I had them down. I had a good week as far as picking the games this week. I know I told everybody don't pay attention to my picks, but I guess maybe I should have just been confident in my picks. So that takes place. Games are over. Then we start hearing more trade rumors. We start hearing about trades. There's already been some trades that have gone down. But we're going to start off with what we heard about here in Broncos Country and has now traveled nationally and been picked up and turned into so much of a giant shit show of a story with this arrest of Chad Kelly, the Broncos' backup quarterback, last night in Inglewood, Colorado, roughly around 1 a.m. So we all know Chad has had his issues in the past off the field with various things. We've talked about it on this show before. Supremely talented kid. He's gotten chance after chance after chance. We know that. Last night, he's at Von Miller's Halloween party. Von throws this party every year. He's done it for like the last 5 years. He invites the team, the families, the spouses, the friends. All these people get together. So they're at an establishment here called The Gothic. Live entertainment, drinks, fun, costumes. And at some point, from the affidavit, from the arrest report, we can put together that Chad Kelly was not drunk. He did not have alcohol in his system. But he had left the party, found a house that was not his. He did not know the residents. And he managed to get into this house. Now, at this house, there was a family. The wife and mother was sitting on the couch with her child, and Chad walked in, incoherent, mumbling, sitting next to her on her couch. She was scared. She freaks out. She calls for her husband. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. He's going to defend his house. He grabs a vacuum pole, an aluminum vacuum pole, and starts hitting him in the upper back and chasing him out of his house. Which in Colorado, he should feel lucky that's all that happened to him. Because he could have been shot in Colorado for whatever is going on with him at this point. Cops are called. They get a description. They find the person who fits the description. They identify him as Chad Kelly. He's sitting in his black SUV back over by the Gothic. Arrest him. He goes to court this morning. He's out. He meets with John Elway. John Elway's pissed. Very disappointed. Everything's on the table with Chad at this point. His mugshot, he's kind of smirk. His eyes are bloodshot a little bit. So, did he take a substance, a recreational or an illegal substance? Did he have somebody do something to him? That is what we need to find out. And what I hear in Broncos Country, because they're dealing with some turmoil right now, because things aren't going their way, is all the negative. They don't know how to persevere and rise up and stay hopeful and stay true. Back their guys until all the facts come out. And then get disappointed. The ship is sinking in Broncos Country. Now they're stuck with Keenum, who they were hoping they could bench. They're stuck with Keenum, who maybe they could have traded. Now what do they do with... we want to trade DT, the guy who's been our best receiver over the last few weeks. Not as many splash plays as Emmanuel Sanders, but the best receiver over the last few weeks. And probably not get a player back who's going to help us try and achieve our goal of getting on a winning streak, maybe getting a division or a wild card, and reaching a Super Bowl. Because they're not out of it. They have 4 losses. You easily can go on a 3-4 game win streak, and all of a sudden you're looking good. 6-4, 7-4. All of a sudden you're in the thick of it. But everything's not as great. The grass is greener on the other side. Keenum's not playing like he did in Minnesota. He sucks. He's a journeyman. He's not reading this. DT can't do it anymore. Vaughn needs to step up. Because of the party, we need to strip him of his captaincy. We need to ship Emmanuel out because of the costume he wore. You don't get rid of talent. That's not the solution. When you have talent, you find out how to build talent, how to get depth. You don't figure out how to blow it up because things aren't going the way the fans want. I used to love listening to sports radio in Denver because it was so educational and introspective. Now, they all sound like a bunch of whiny fans. Things not going their way. Wah, wah, wah. Blow it up. Start over. I want a different player. I want a better player. Sometimes you just need the right mix of players. Sometimes you need to get in the right groove, like Philadelphia did last year, like Carolina did the year they faced Denver in the Super Bowl. And you need some things to break your way. And you need some health to go your way and some injuries to go other ways. You need calls to go your way. There's a lot that goes into making a Super Bowl team, not just deciding randomly, hey, let's throw our hands up and get a different player. Now, when guys, coaches, players alike have proven that they're not the guy, okay, you go ahead and make a move. But if you make that move in the middle of the season, what are you saying? You're not saying we're trying to win. You're saying we're moving on. Yes, you all want to be competitive no matter what. You're going to say that. But the fact of the matter is, when you make a move like that at any point during the season, you're saying we're moving on till next year. Outwardly, you're going to say we want to win a championship. We're going to be competitive. We're trying to do everything we can. But realistically, you're washing your hands. So we'll have to see what happens with this Chad Kelly situation moving forward. He has representation. the facts and the conclusion will come out, then everybody can decide that we need to hate this person for whatever mistake they made. And to be charged with first-degree trespassing, which is a fifth-degree felony, when you didn't threaten anybody, and all you were, should you be charged with something? Yes. Is that a felony or... No. Nowhere in any of the reports so far does it say he broke in, he forced his way in. There's part of the report that says their house was locked, the homeowners say. But there's also no sign of any forced entry. So he was either let in or he turned the doorknob because he was messed up on whatever it is. And he walked in, and when all of a sudden it hit the fan and he realized, he left. He didn't go drive. He sat in his car. Which you're not thinking, oh, I should stay here for the police. You're thinking, oh, crap, this isn't a house I should be at. So I'm going to wait to see what happens. There's been way worse things players have done in the NFL than this. And people give them second chances and or look the other way. But that is a sign of our times. That's where our society is at. That's where we're at, is that we're going to tear everything apart before we even know the facts. Our opinions are now the facts, not just our opinions. We all think our opinions are now the truth and the fact, and ipso facto whatever. And that's not how it is. And the costume thing, are you kidding me? TMZ puts up a splash headline, Broncos throw cocaine-themed party. And everybody jumps on that like, oh, look how bad it is. Look what's going on with this organization. Look how out of control they are. They should be focused. It's a Halloween party. Emmanuel Sanders dressed up as a Dave Chappelle character. Brandon Marshall dressed up as Bobby Brown. They're not promoting it. They're adults at a costume party. But again, snazzy headline, everybody can get angry about it and be mad, and let's trade them, and this is how messed up they are, and they need to be focused, and what are they showing the young guys? Okay, if all of this is true, we need to get rid of these players, blow it up. Emmanuel Sanders should be traded for wearing a costume, and Case Keenum's not working out, and all the young guys who have potential, because only 2 of them really have shown, or 3, Chubb, Lindsey, and Freeman. Sutton has had a couple plays, but he hasn't beaten anybody out. Yes, he's more athletic. That doesn't mean he's going to be a better overall consistent NFL wide receiver. Let's let the kid grow before we anoint him. You can still get to the young talent next season. You can get him a lot of reps this season by just moving DT inside. You play him and Emmanuel on the outside, move DT inside. But again, the freak out nature of Broncos Country right now is unbelievable. I had to turn the sports radio off on my way home from work and just listen to the radio for the first time in a long time. Because I couldn't deal with it. Show after show after show. Blow it up. Doomsday. End of the world. Worst case scenario. What are they going to do now? Man. If that doesn't show where we are as a society, along with all the political stuff, I don't know what does. We used to back our teams through thick and thin. 0-16. That's my squad. Not anymore. Not anymore. But we'll see. Broncos Country will bounce back, I'm sure. They're strong. They got numbers. But what an overreaction. The organization doesn't even care about the costumes. That's a non-issue. It's not a sign of anything other than grown men wearing costumes to a party and trying to be creative with characters and or celebrities. Get over it. John Gruden trades Amari Cooper, gets a first-round pick from the Jerry Boys. Ain't that something? Who got the better end of that deal? Right now, I would have to say John Gruden got the better end of that deal. But honestly, neither one of them got anything good out of it. Because once again, the Raiders are blowing everything up, trading everybody away. Yes, they have 3 first-round picks next year, but if you don't hit on 2 of them, at least, like all-pro 10-year Pro Bowlers, this is all for naught. Now, Amari Cooper's fallen off. Is that because of the system, the coaching, him, his willingness, his want to? We don't know. We'll see how he works out in Dallas with Dak Prescott and the boys down there. So, he gets traded for a first-round pick. Brandon Cooks, for example, was traded for a 4th-round or a 2008 first and a 6th-round pick. Kelvin Benjamin, 2018 3rd-round and a 7th-round pick. Jarvis Landry, 2018 4th-round pick and a 2019 7th-round pick. Josh Gordon, 2019 5th-round pick. But somehow, the Raiders got a 1st-round pick. Some people say, hey, the Cowboys finally beat the Eagles. Eagles were offering a 2nd-round pick. Cowboys come in. They get that receiver that everybody says they need. Now it's got to be it's got to work. Gallup and Cooper and Beasley, that's your core. That's your receiving squad. They're going to have to put up some numbers. So Amari Cooper's set to make $13.9 million next year. That'll come off Oakland's books because he's still on his rookie contract. So they'll have $74 million in cap space entering 2019 along with their first-round picks that they're collecting. And relatively, those picks could all be early. Do they trade Carr? Is Carr done? Is the rift that's supposedly happening there and the headlines we're seeing about that, do they have weight? Is Denver a possibility? So he can be paired back up with Bill Musgrave. Is Conley going to be, dealt? John Gruden makes the decision. Reggie McKenzie executes the plan. They're reworking this club. Everybody Raiders have grown to love, they're going to be gone. You're going to be stuck with a team that's going to be young, with veterans like Bruce Irvin who don't want to be there and rather go home to his beautiful wife to make babies. My question is, how bad do these teams think next year's draft class is that they're all giving the Raiders first-round picks? Give up my first-round pick. Give up my first-round pick. Well, then why is it's so important to have them if teams are now getting rid of them? I get giving a first-round pick for Khalil Mack. I don't get multiple picks. I don't get a first-round pick for Cooper. That is ridiculous. That's how you mess up your team, is with deals like that. So now does Des Bryant, former Cowboy, still looking for a squad, sign with Oakland? Gruden loves veterans. They clearly need another receiver. They're promoting a guy from the practice squad. They don't even have another guy on the roster who can step up and play. Practice squad guy. So does Dez somehow find his way in Oakland? It seems like a very Raider Gruden thing to do. Then Patrick Peterson wants out now. His cousin says the Saints. He was an LSU product. That makes sense. Every team should want Patrick Peterson. Denver's players. Rumors about Bradley Roby, Chris Harris, DT, Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, now there's rumors that the Giants are going to be open for sale. Carlos Hyde's been traded. Eli Apple's been traded. Amari Cooper's been traded. If nothing else, people keep life interesting, and sports gives me something to talk about. Which, now, we get to talk about the World Series, which kicks off tonight on Fox, about 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock actually, here in about an hour, local time in Denver, 8 o'clock Eastern. You got 2 in Boston, 2 in LA, then you go, or 3 in LA, and then 2 in Boston. I'm excited. I didn't pick the Dodgers. I didn't think they were going to be the team. I thought Milwaukee was playing a better style of baseball that matched up with either Houston or Boston a little better. But the Dodgers, they have a mixture of youth, they have a mixture of experience, they have solid pitching, better pitching than I thought. Kershaw's going tonight. They still have Rich Hill. Hyun-Jin Ryu's have been solid. Alex Wood. Walker Buehler. And this is a team that had to build itself pretty much throughout the season. At one point, they were 10 games below 500. It's not like the Red Sox who just took off this year. It's not like the Red Sox with Eovaldi and Pomeranz and Porcello and Price and Rodriguez and Sale. Oh, Sale is a stud going tonight against Kershaw. It's going to be fun to see that one. They led the whole season. Throughout the whole season. Putting up numbers the whole season. But you look at where these two teams finished in team pitching for the season. And what you're going to see, once I get my numbers to come up, for pitching, batting, and fielding, is that the Dodgers did really, really good this season. And partially because they were able to come back. In batting, team-wise, Boston was first. The Dodgers were fifth. Dodgers scored the most runs in the National League. The Red Sox scored the most runs in the American League. So we know these two teams can rake. I personally think if you can keep the Dodgers from hitting big home runs, you got a better chance of winning this series. Fielding. Boston was 7th, and the Dodgers were 26th. Okay, so Boston's up 2 categories to 1, batting and fielding. Now, Boston's got some stud fielders. Molinari, their whole outfield, Betts, just amazing. But pitching is where I got caught off guard. I didn't think the Dodgers had that good of a season pitching. Now, it goes to show that's why they came back from 10 games down under 500 and were able to win the West at 92 games and do what they did in the second half of the season because the pitching performance they put up. They were second in pitching in all of Major League Baseball. Boston, who's highly touted as having one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, came in 8th overall in pitching in Major League Baseball. So can Boston's hitting compete with the Dodgers' bats? Can Boston's pitching keep the Dodgers from getting those big 2-3 run home runs, those walk-offs? This is going to be a better series than I really thought it would be. The Dodgers, they're coming back to another World Series. I would like them to win the World Series and Kershaw win it the same year Stafford and the Lions win the Super Bowl so the two friends can have the moment. But whatever. I'm going with the Red Sox in this series. It's going to be fun to watch. It kicks off tonight. Batting goes to the Red Sox. Pitching goes to the Dodgers. Battle of strengths, battle of coasts. TV execs everywhere are thrilled that you got 2 major markets. These two teams, this is their first meeting since the Dodgers were in Brooklyn, and they were the Brooklyn Robins. In 1916, Babe Ruth was pitching. The 2 managers, Dave Roberts and Alex Cora, of the Dodgers and Red Sox, have both played for both of these teams. You got strikeout masters going tonight. Both left-handers, both dominant. Here we go. Let's do it. It's the World Series, baby. On top of that, the NBA is kicked off. I won my first fantasy matchup. I do have Kyle Berry this week. He's currently beating me. But early on, you look at the standings, and maybe Charles Barkley wasn't so off. I mean, he had Denver as the 3rd seed in the West. I had Denver being a playoff team for sure this year, but currently the Denver Nuggets at 3-0, holding all three opponents under 100 points, beating Golden State the other day, are number one in the Western Conference. Enjoy it, Nuggets fans, because I don't know how long it's going to last. Pelicans are playing excellent basketball right behind them. Golden State, Portland, your typical teams after that. Minnesota hasn't really caught on yet. The Jazz aren't playing as well as we thought they would to start off the season. And Houston and LA and Oklahoma aren't really hitting at their stride yet either. Early on, 3-4 games in. On the other side, Toronto with Kawhi, they're sitting at 4-0. Milwaukee right behind them, followed by the Pistons, who are playing really well early in the season. You look at stats, it's early again, but Kemba Walker and Nikola Mitrovic of New Orleans, 33 points a game. Andre Drummond, 16.5, followed by Giannis at 16 rebounds per game. Kyle Lowry, 10 assists per game. Jarrett Allen, 3 blocks per game. It's early, but basketball's back. It's exciting. I love seeing the numbers. They're going to change so much throughout the year. I do want to shout out a buddy of mine, Dustin Worthington. He had a great fantasy weekend, ESPN League, standard scoring. Was able to get 169 points, I believe. Left 16 points on the bench. Just killed it this week in his fantasy league. So big ups to Dustin Worthington. That's what we got for you today. Enjoy the World Series tonight. We'll get with you guys again on Thursday. And until next time, just be real.
Hey, yo, we way too close to the edge, so stop pushing us. Sending all our soldiers to war, they George Bushing us. People lie down from the bullets daily in Chi-Town. Nobody's exempt, I even seen it in my town. Who lives matter? Nobody's really listening. They still getting sick from the water in Flint, Michigan. Dakota Access Pipeline hurt the indigenous. Poison our own people for profit, this shit's ridiculous. You want some information, I give you a little piece. Somebody's making millions off murders in Middle East. Who's manufacturing guns, drugs, and ammunition? How many corporations controlling these politicians? Turn your cameras on so these people can see the picture. The poor get left behind, but the rich is getting richer. I'd rather die as a free man than live in fear. We'll always be here on God's earth, we'll never disappear.
Long and winding road that leads me to your door will never disappear.
I stay wise on how these guys are derived plots. Mind sharp, third eyes about as wide as a cyclops. They keep us at the bottom to follow the blind flock. I rise to the top cause I outsmarted the sly fox. They won't be taking up residence in a pine box, but I'ma fire shots for these cops can make my time stop. By golly and my gosh, this time's harsh. Staring at the stars, trying to talk to God, but it's all a farce. The world is falling apart. You try to send your thoughts and your prayers. You niggas is better off taking up arms. You think what's written in the book of songs could right these wrongs? Violence begets violence, we gotta fight for ours. I'll probably incite a riot when I recite the song. Just stand in silence if you can't ride for the righteous cause. It's been a long and a windy road to get us here, but I ain't never scared. All signs of fear have disappeared.
Long and winding road that leads me to your door will never disappear.